They did a package from last week, the triple threat match where Roman and company came out and slaughtered all the top baby faces. And then they had a clip from after, supposedly in the back, where, Paul told Roman about the four-way being made by Nick Aldis for the title with him against the top three baby faces. And Roman says, fix it. Right? That was last week. So now we're supposed to see Grayson Waller against Cameron Grimes, but we come out of that package and Solo and Jimmy Uso are beating up Grimes in the aisleway and the security guys. And Waller, in theory, just bailouts. They don't get any. And that's where Heyman takes the microphone. And this was a Heyman-heavy show, which actually isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And he said, we're not the bad guys. This James Bond wannabe Nick Aldis is the bad guy. He made the four-way to guarantee that Roman loses the title. See, now they're trying to say, okay, this is going to be the chink in his armor.
Right.
This is the weakness of the unbeatable. Three guys are going to beat him. But anyway, that makes Aldis the bad guy. And then Aldis takes the microphone, and you and I have talked about this. I mentioned last week, I didn't like him being so calm and cool and collected while three of the most valuable members of his roster were being slaughtered in front of his face. But I like the idea that he's the snooty, fucking hard-nosed, I'm the general manager and I want to get over for me. I'm selfish. This is all about me, and I'm not going to brook any of your interference, Heyman. And he says, this is not a talk between equals to Heyman. Like, I'm your boss, motherfucker. The four-way is set, and the Bloodline aren't going to ruin another main event tonight because they're in it. And he books AJ and LA and RO against Solo and Uso and Roman Reigns. And Paul tries to answer him by taking the microphone, and Aldis won't let go of it.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah. He's in control of the show here. Paul says, Roman's not here. And Aldis says, you're right. So find a third guy if you like, or it's 2-on-3.
Yeah.
And the best part was they got this all done in 10 minutes. It was great. Go ahead.
No, they did. And I was saying this to you before, but I love what they're doing with all this. I wasn't sure in the beginning. I had the reaction a lot of people did, which is, well, they're kind of wasting this guy. What is this? He's a wrestler. He's accomplished, but they're doing something very different. We've talked about how the authority figure thing is so completely done to death. And usually they're either evil or they're completely ineffectual. I mean, I like Adam Pearce, but his whole job was just to yell and exasperately wave his arms around while
he's the nice guy who's trying to keep this, this troubled student class in line, whereas Aldis is a cutthroat, evil businessman out for himself and not any particular side of the wrestling roster.
But they're not doing the evil thing where he's like one of the McMahons. Like it's not that kind of a thing. It's like he is in charge and he's going to make it clear, I run this show and I'm going to do what's best for this show. And I think it's cool to have a character like that because we've always talked about how lame it comes across sometimes when they try to act like the wrestlers run the show. Because look, we all know the wrestlers don't run the show. So it comes across as really just annoying when the wrestlers are just running everything and no authority figures can control anybody. And with Nick Aldis, it seems like he's there in storyline. He represents the company. He represents WWE. We run the show. You're going to do what we want you to do. And not even Roman Reigns is above that. And I think doing that, it keeps Roman Reigns fresh and it keeps the bloodline as fresh as it could be because they were, definitely becoming stale because now they have this new wrinkle where now they have a boss who is not going to just kowtow to whatever they want.
But I think you'll find out over a period of time, and I'm pretty sure Aldis will be in this spot for a while. You'll find out over a period of time, Aldis wants to run the fucking WWE. Yes. And as soon as he's not evil, like I'm a madman and I want all the heels to win. He's like, I'm going to run this whole fucking thing. I think this could be very interesting.
Yeah, and I hope it leads to him actually getting in the ring and working a program. And I may sound ridiculous and maybe I'm totally off base here, but I could potentially even see this leading to his eventually challenging Roman Reigns himself.
You're not only off base, you're not even in the ballpark.
Tell me why.
I guarantee you may see Aldis do physical things, and you may even see Aldis put into a match a la Vince was put in matches or whatever. I don't think you will ever see Aldis wrestle with any regularity or for any other reason than a premium live event after a long, long period of time. He knows that he's closer to the end than the beginning on his wrestling career, but he's got a whole new thing that he's found here and that they found in him. And if they don't, they should lean away from the fact that he's been a wrestler rather than lean into it, except in terms of him putting the foot down, because physically he's, big enough to stand eye to eye with people. But boy, they ought to wait and make the people pay. And it's something. It's Austin and McMahon.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that.
It's not. Vince is going to be wrestling on Raw this Monday. What the fuck? No.
Right.
So I think they're going to lean into that aspect of it. I don't think he should want to be not just a wrestler, but I don't think he would want to wrestle with enough regularity that it would not be special for a long, long time.
But I think
then, at the same time, then he can be presented as a retired wrestler, but he wouldn't be on the same level as currently active, competitor.
Yeah, and we know, obviously, Adam Pearce also had a wrestling background, but I know Adam Pearce has been very public in saying that he never wants to wrestle again. But in the case of somebody like Aldis, the average WWE fan, they have no idea what his background is. They don't know if he ever wrestled before. And I think, like you said, even if it's a special one-time only or a very rare thing, the idea of, and once he shows the people what he can actually do, I think a lot of WWE fans will be really surprised because they don't really see him that way.
I don't know whether they should be surprised. Think about this. 25 times more people are seeing him now than have seen him before. Should he show him he's a great wrestler? It depends on whether he's against a babyface or a heel and what he's fighting for. Should he show him he's a great wrestler, or should he be in a position where they're finally going to get this motherfucker's ass kicked and I want to see it? We'll see how far it takes him to get there. But I would not want to see him in tights for months and months. This is just getting started.
Right.